Why does Bohemian fashion keep coming back on trend?
Bestie, I got you. So the OG Bohemian Revolution was a direct response to living in the thick of the Industrial Revolution, where the urban factory owners and capitalists and nationalism and bougie Victorian rigid society, the kids growing up in that world, they're like, we don't want it. Unsubscribe. So they start the Bohemian Revolution. Now, what even is a Bohemian, Bestie? I'm glad you asked. So let's go to the map. Now, the Bohemian people aren't really from Bohemia. It's actually the Roma or Gypsy people. Now, let's get into it. So they're actually from India and didn't have their own state. So we're migrating and facing discrimination all along the way to Western Europe. Now, one of the spots was in Egypt. That's where we get the word gypsy. But that is a misnomer because they are not from Egypt. The people in Europe just kind of thought they looked a little bit different. They're like, oh, you're from Egypt. Now, these people that thought that Christopher Columbus was in India. Now, anyway, one of the stops that they make in Eastern Europe is in Bohemia, and that king does actually grant them papers. So when they go into France, the French people call them Bohemian. And that is why we see so much influence of Middle Eastern, Asian, African, and Eastern European fashion in Bohemian fashion. So that ethnic group's culture is then adopted by artists and musicians and young people that want to live in this area, right? Now, what happens is we have to take a little break because it's going to be a world war. But then America wins, so it should be like American dream time, right? Nuclear family, housewives are happy, but not really because they're all on pills, and the American dream is built on segregation and suburban white flight and the military-industrial complex. So the kids, the baby boomers, they don't really like this nuclear Armageddon Cold War, so they want to do like the beatnik, feminism, civil rights, Woodstock, right? And they get made fun of, they call it tree huggers, but they're trying to open their mind. They want to go back to like anti-capitalism rejection of this world that they do not like. But then they had to grow up, and the boomers do eventually have kids that come of age in the new millennium. Enter millennial trauma. So we were promised Xenon Girl of the 21st century, but instead millennials got 9/11, the war on terror, and housing crisis and recession core. Now, if she doesn't know this necklace, she's too young for you, bro. So the boho revival was the millennial version of these 70s trends again, but the 70s trends were sort of doing the bohemian trend. So again, here we are. We don't want to be mainstream. We're doing boutiques, flower crowns, Coachella is basically like the Woodstock, Free People, Urban Outfitters. This is vintage Free People, by the way. Etsy, nylon, Tumblr, hipsters. It feels like the perfect night to dress up like hipsters, but then we kind of girl boss a little bit too hard because they go into late stage capitalism. Now, there's a lot of talk lately about the Gen Z stare. I think they're just processing all of this, to be honest, because this is what Gen Z grew up with. COVID, Shein Hall, TikTok, Kylie Jenner, iPad kids with Facebook moms, streaming podcasts on the manosphere. It's just a lot. It's a lot. And this timeline is getting shorter because the technology is getting faster. So what does a Gen Z Bohemian revival look like? Well, they're thrifting to go against the Shein Hall culture. They're not really drinking alcohol or coffee. They're more into matcha or they're a wall of water bottles. They're again using DSLR or wired headphones to reject this technology. And again, the grind of the work culture. Rejection of that is quiet quitting, working from home. And their American dream, not the picket fest housewife in suburbia. Their American dream is to be happy with themselves and have these fluid identities and experiences that they like. And the way that they cope with this is by romanticizing all of the sort of mundane things in their life, literally touching grass and getting back to the bohemian ideals.
Thank you so much for watching. My name is Miss Chella. I'm a Zillennial history teacher. Make sure to share this video with anybody who loves history or fashion, or if you remember or lived through any of these boho revivals, let me know anything that I missed in the comments, and make sure to follow along for more deep dives like this one.